I can hear you good enough. Yeah, I can.
Yeah.
If you speak up just a little bit.
Oh, okay. Okay. So you bougie, like I don't have a sound bar. Okay. I don't know what that is. That's cool. I mean, it's cool. Okay. Thank you. What?
Can you hear us though, Miss Smarty Pants?
I can, thanks. I can. I was, Keisha, 17 minutes ago. I was responding to what you said. The shade. It's dark. Did it get dark? Did it get dark? The shade. The shade began. But no, that's one reason why I felt it was important. This actually started off as a journal. I journal every day. This is over the course of several years of me journaling. And to be perfectly honest, when I wrote this, I didn't expect a publisher to pick it up. It was one of those things on my to-do list that I was like, send book to publisher. And so when they said they accepted it and they wanted to move forward with me and they were excited about the book, I was like, oh, I gotta take so much stuff out this book. Like I wasn't expecting, because it's a lot. Like Tamika said, it was a lot that I put in the book, and imagine what I didn't put in there. You know what I mean? So I had to consider everybody's feelings, but before my dad died, he was like, you need to publish that book. And my concern was, well, you know, what will people think? They're gonna be mad at me. And he said, if they wanted the narrative to be different, they should have treated you better. I said, that was a word. I still waited 5 years. But it was in my heart though, because I was nervous. So, whatever. Yeah. Absolutely. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We're gonna absolutely get into it. Okay. We need.
Okay.
Okay, come
Let me
on.
go next because I want to piggyback off Keisha.
Okay, come on, Monica.
Since I know you, hi
Yeah.
everybody, I'm Monica. Miss All Natural is my book club name. I don't know why y'all didn't introduce y'all book club name.
Oh yeah. Y'all should have put it in the thing, but go ahead. Come on, Miss All Natural. Come through.
So knowing you, as Keisha said, and just
Mm-hmm.
knowing your joyful spirit and your personality, like you said, you never know what people are going through.
Mm-hmm.
And it did, it broke my heart.
Mm-hmm.
It was very emotional.
Mm-hmm.
I like Tamika agreed, like it was a lot. Like you put a lot out there, but I felt like that was therapeutic for you.
It was.
And you had a lot of life lessons in there. Forgiveness being a big one. You know, keep watching your energy and the company you keep,
Mm-hmm.
showing up for people, being accountable, checking on your strong friends, just stuff we always talk about. So I felt like you did. You just reiterated a lot of lessons that is important. And it was your story, and like Keisha said, your truth. So I thank you for sharing because it was very personal, and you didn't
Mm-hmm.
have to do that and open it up to the public. I am curious to see how the people you talked about in the book felt about it too. So that was one of my notes that I wrote down. But yeah, I thought it was a good book.
Yeah.
It took me a little bit to get into it, but once I got into it, I read it like that.
Yeah. And I guess that's the natural. Thank you so much, Monica, for sharing that. I think that's the natural progression of life too. It starts off kind of slow, and then the crap hit the fan, and then it's like you just fall down and you have to get up running. And I think that's exactly what happened because how the book is, it's in chronological order from the beginning
Wow.
to my last day writing this book was around my birthday, December 20th of last year. So this was written up all the way until almost the day of publishing. So yeah, thank you. Thanks, Monica.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Who else wants to go? We have two more, child. Look at Abby, look at Siobhan. Which one of y'all gonna go, child? Too quiet, folks. Okay,
I can go.
okay.
I'm Shavonda. I'm Miss Breezy because Monica Check us on.
Hey, Miss Breezy.
Who gonna check us, boo?
Oh, Monica. On natural. That's who's gonna check you.
So let me just say my name again.
I'm just putting it out there.
Put it out there, cause yeah. But yeah. So reading this book, knowing what I thought I knew. Well, a lot of it I did know, but it was a lot that I didn't know. So that was really an eye opener for me. It was really good. It was really interesting putting all the pieces together. Not even knowing some of the stuff. But knowing some of the stuff and then getting pissed off at some of the stuff. I was gonna say, how did it make you feel? Yeah. As being a family member. Yeah. Yeah. It was a lot, so to speak.
Yeah. And I just want to apologize for not reaching out, because I know that you would have been there for me in a lot of this, Shavonda, and I just didn't have the, I guess, courage to reach out to you during some of this stuff. So I do want to apologize, because I know I will feel away.
You went through a lot.
Yeah. Well, moving forward, if I have any problems, I expect you to be there 100%. Thanks. All right.
Of course.
And she's back.
Very. All right. Thank you. Miss Abby, don't think we forgot about you. Go ahead. Introduce yourself right on. Okay.
Yeah. And your girlfriend name is?
Okay.
Miss Snacks. That's 2 X's, okay?
2 X's.
Right.
Come on. Come on.
You're so crazy.
And so, and since, a lot of people out of the group know you, and I don't know you, so I think that was a good thing. When I did read the book, kind of like other people said, it kind of started off slow, but I think it was just more of, you said it was in chronological order, and it probably was, because like maybe you said like, okay, when I was 16 this happened, but further on when I was 17, or you probably was talking about things that you were going to talk about in the book. So I think that's why it was a little slow, because I was just trying to catch it a little bit, not just to see, but you had to read it to get what you were talking about at the beginning. So of course you got to kind of, I'm going to talk about this, and when I'm just going to say when my mama did this, and then you'll come back. So I think that's where we started off a little slow, just kind of when you read it, you kind of, catch where everything is. I liked the book, but I did have to put it down a couple of times, because I was like, okay, so I don't like to read books where people probably get hurt, or I don't like, of course I like, okay, I'm gonna say I like history, right?
Yeah.
But I don't like talking about the slave days.
Me either. Oh my God.
So I'm more of an emotional reader.
Yeah.
When it's fiction, I can read a book all day, but when it's something about somebody, and it's their personal story, I get a little bit emotional. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm not gonna say that I don't even know your mom, and I'm mad at, you know what I'm saying? And because it seemed like she did so much, but you forgave her so many times, and it just says a lot about you. Like, how somebody be like, oh, she better than me. You know what I mean? It's just, it's not about that. It's just about, like they said, it's your journey or story, in a way that to be able to get in a good place with yourself and forgive is to forgive others, right?
Yeah.
And so I think my biggest thing was, I just was like, I get angry in the book because somebody might have did something, and I'm like, that ain't right. I mean,
Yeah.
So that's why I had to put the book down a couple times, or the book. I mean, but I did enjoy it. I mean, you know, some good things in the book, very good things. I love the God's promise, and then your promise. That was like my favorite thing out of the book. Like I'm just saying, like I've never seen that in anybody's books before, so I really like that. That's something that you can really like take out and write. And even though it was your promise to you, it went with the book so well. Like whatever you were talking about in your chapters, it went right with those scriptures, and then your promise that aligns with the scripture. So I really appreciate that. But I mean, but that was the same thing. Like Tamika said, I mean, once I got it, I read it. I mean, I had to figure out a way.
I can't hear you now, Abby. Shavonda walked away and took the speaker with her.
Oh,
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't want to miss nothing. I'm so sorry.
Like, yeah, Abby, and then it just got quieter and quieter, and it was like.
It's hosted. I'll tell you about it. Maybe that's why you can't hear it. Because everybody like this is the father. Abby's the mother. Yeah, I am the third.
Okay.
But no, I just like I said, I enjoyed the book. I put it down a couple times, like I said, just to regroup. I thought about some stuff in the chapters, like that's how it just made me do. But it didn't. I didn't put it down because I was like, oh no, this book. You know, it was just more about, you know, I was the character. Not well, you're not a character, but that's just,
you can say the characters.
Yeah.
That's fine. Yeah.
So I was that character in the book, and then I would put myself in there, but it did show me, and this is the last thing I'll say, you know, it showed me a lot about your relationship with God, and how you always had a relationship with him, but how it got stronger towards the end of the book, and that's just as we get older. I'm not saying everybody, you know, I know an 18-year-old that's, you know, she's a minister, but what I'm saying is it just showed your path and how as you got stronger. And my favorite, you know, I can't even really remember the verbatim line, but it was just more about when you were in those toxic relationships or when you didn't walk that path with God, how everything was just so messed up. But as you gave in and opened yourself to God, everything got so much better. Everything just aligned, and that was like one of my favorite. I think that was like page 118. I can't remember. I just remember my
girl, because I don't know what page that's on. I'm like, oh, I want to see what she's talking about.
It was something. Wait, let me look, because it was something in 118 that I like. Like I was like, okay, this page 118. But it was just like towards the middle of the book, like it was just some good stuff. But I just
we just got our book out.
It was some good stuff.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Abby. Is it the chapter remarriage?
Yeah.
It's a very short.
It's very short, but it's
okay.
More about just I gotta go get the book, but I got some. Oh, your stuff highlighted? You got notes? I got it highlighted, but I just remembered, like, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, yes, Lord.
Okay, I can read. Let me read the remarriage, because I think tell me if this is it or not. Once my ex-husband left, I did some serious soul searching. For 2 years, I worked on myself and my son. I worked on rebuilding a relationship with my daughter, and I wanted to know my mother better. I wanted to become all that God had created me to be. I wanted to be free. I didn't date. I did talk on the phone to one guy briefly, but when that became inappropriate, I cut all ties and changed my number. I always kept or tried to keep my ex abreast of what was going on with our son, but he wasn't receptive. He tried coming back a time or two, but he hadn't changed, and I wanted nothing to do with him other than allowing him to be a father, something he rejected. It took me 31 years to finally meet the man that God had for me, a childhood friend from Wisconsin, but I met up with him here in Alabama. What are the odds that we would meet here, miles from our hometown in Wisconsin? He had his own victory of freedom, and he knew what it was like to be broken and rebuilt. We met, we prayed, we waited on God, and we got married. Who knew that I would meet the man that I prayed for with perks that I didn't know I wanted or needed? There is no comparison between my ex and my husband now, but I can compare who I was with who I am. It has made the difference in my life. When I was broken, I attracted pain. And when I walked in faith and healing, I attracted a man of God, and that's the difference. I won't say that we are perfect, but we are perfect for each other. I give this praise to God. He was healing my husband, getting him ready, breaking addiction, removing strongholds, showing him love and how to love before he introduced us again. Had it been any sooner, I wouldn't have been ready, and I would have ruined him with my mess. I must admit, in the beginning, I was insecure and I didn't know how to trust, but he was patient with me. He was kind to me, and he earned my trust and wiped away my insecurities, not with words, but with his love.
Yep. So.
Oh, I was gonna read his. Let me just read the promises at the end.
Okay, go on, do your thing.
Because I'm getting emotional, and I just want to read the promises. Oh my God. His promise. She said to him, "Give me a blessing, since you have given me the land of Negate. Give me also springs of water." And he gave her the upper springs and the lower springs, Joshua 15:19. I chose that verse because I feel like we don't even know what it is that we want or what we need sometime. And God blesses us abundantly more than what we could ever dream or hope for. And I feel like I wanted this, right? Give me a sip of water. Give me some great value, God. And God was like, hold on, I got a whole spring for you. You know what I'm saying? He was like, I'm going to sprinkle and I'm going to dunk you. You know what I mean? Like, he was like, you want this, but I'm going to give you a whole spring with a waterfall. You can't swim, but I got you. You know what I'm saying? That's what I feel like what happened. Okay. Then it said, my promise to myself. Right. I said, I promise to trust God enough to allow Quan to lead our family in the way that we should go. I know, yeah. So thank you for that, Abby. I'm glad that you enjoyed that. That was very real. It's really hard for me to read some of this because some of this stuff happened. I just wrote about it once and I didn't look at it again. Does that make sense? So it's like I'm rereading some of this stuff and it's like, oh, even though I'm in therapy and I'm getting this stuff worked out, it's still very real. And some of the stuff is still happening right now today. So it's raw. But I do appreciate you guys taking the time to want to read and talk about this because I want to know how it affected you. I want to hear all your questions. I'm about to shut up and let y'all go for it. Go ahead, talk to me.
One of my questions, as far as like, did you let your family read the book? How did your husband? I guess that's two three parts. One, how did your husband feel about the book? And two, double back. Did you let your mother, daughter, like this basically how does everybody feel about it? Because your truth is their truth.
Yeah.
It may not be their truth in their eyes, you know.
Right.
Do they feel like it was right or was it wrong? I'm just going so far.
Even your brother, how did he feel about it too?
So interestingly enough, my husband, we'll start with him. He's like me. When I sent the book out, I didn't even tell him I was sending it to the publisher. It was just, I submitted it to the publisher and I forgot about it. And when they sent me that letter, I still didn't tell him. Why? Because he's a very private person. I was like, oh my God, he is going to leave me. Like, he is going to be like, he's very private. He doesn't have social media. Nobody knows his business. And here I am like, so let me tell you about this time I got arrested. Like, he like, what the hell? You know what I mean? He was like, so I was so nervous that he would not be understanding or receptive to the idea of me literally just putting our life on blast. That's what happened. I put us on blast. So I talked to him about it. And he was like, oh, that's good, babe, because he knows that I write. He knows that, you know, about my poetry stuff. Like, he knows about that aspect of it. But he's like, so what's the book about? I was like, you, it's about you. And he was like, what you mean? And he didn't read it for probably 3 months, y'all. Like, it was on the shelves, it was out, printed. And he just was, his book was brand new. Like, people Bible that don't read their Bible, it was just brand new. It was just sitting there. And I'd like prompt him. I'd be like, so, you know, you want to read page 73 with me? And he'd be like, no, I can't. Like, he was just so nervous. So he finally took the time. He skimmed it. I don't think he sat and read the whole thing, but he did read it. And he was like, the same thing you just said. He was like, it's the truth. And that was it. I think his thing was, as long as it's the truth and it's not me being, because I can't help but to be somewhat objective, right? As long as I'm not pointing a finger at everybody like, oh, you know, you did this without telling my part of it. I think since I wrote it with integrity, he was okay with it. Does that make sense? And it wasn't a bashing book. I think it's so quick to think of a biography or autobiography as a bashing book, me bashing people. So he's okay with it now. My brother has not read the book. He's afraid to read the book. He's still very close to my mom. They still, you know, talk every day. And, you know, you pick your loyalties, and that's fine. I talk to my brother often. He's not a fan of me talking about something because, as you all know from reading the book, our experiences were very different. Our relationship with our parents it was night and day, literally. So although he was privy to that experience, he still feels like I probably shouldn't have written the book. I don't want to speak for him. I do want to do an interview with him one day to see how he really feels about it. But he's just like, well, Moy, it's your truth. I mean, it's your truth. I mean, you know, I ain't read it, but it's your truth. So he ain't goofy like that, but you know what I mean. He was just like, it's your truth. He is, but I can't say that because we on live, and I don't know if he gonna come on and then he be like, "Who are you talking about me?"
We on live?
Yeah, we on live. I'm on live on my Facebook. They can't see y'all. They can see me. Yeah, they can't see y'all.
Told us so we could have cleaned ourselves up a little bit.
Oh, go in there, girl.
Oh, she ready.
Y'all fine. They can't see y'all though. They could just see me. It's just me. They can't see y'all.
We got our act together.
It's fine. They could just see me.
The book was real, we real. Right.
Hey, show up. From the waist down, I look a hot freaking mess. So you just need to we gonna see what you need to see. That's it. I took it to this part. That's it. If I stand up, y'all gonna be like, damn. But I don't know what my mom thinks. What you say? What you say, Keisha?
I said, don't stand up.
Girl, I shaved my left leg and was like, girl, I ain't finna do that right when it's too much. We in the pandemic, like, love me how I am. I'm shaving both legs today. I don't know. I literally have not spoken to her in over a year. I haven't spoken to AJ, which is my daughter, in over a year. They're in cahoots. They love each other. I love them both, but I have to love them from a distance, which is ironic because they moved here. So they're both here.
And you still
in Alabama.
What part of Alabama?
I'm in Madison, which is like Madison, Wisconsin. They are like, so say I'm in Shorewood, they're in Milwaukee. They're that close to me. They're not far.
Okay, so that explains it. Because when you were saying Madison, I was thinking Wisconsin, and I'm like, when did she move to Madison?
Oh no, I'm here. I lived in Madison though. There.
I never thought Madison, Alabama. I was
Yeah.
to say Madison, and maybe I missed that part. No, because I was like, when did she go to? You know, and that was another thing. I found myself confused a few times as far as like time frames, like wait, what? And then I have to go back, like, when did she move with that person? Or when did she move to Madison? So I try to go back and read the part and try to, you know what I mean? So I found myself confused a couple of times. Parts, mainly like the time frame, not
Yeah.
the person how to write. But you know, it's like, I was 16, then he was 20, then he was a kid, and it was like, wait a minute, so I find myself kind of like going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. You know, and no rules to how you do it. I don't know, but I will say for me, it makes you think about things that you went through as childhood or with family, and then I thought for myself, if I wrote a book, what would I tell? You know, the truth shall set you free, or cradle to the grave. So,
That's what I want to ask y'all, and I want everybody to answer that question. If you had to write an autobiography that was published for the world to see, what would you include in that?
What you mean about what? Like,
I guess it depends on what your book is about. Because if my book is about healing, and I'm going to talk about all the things that affected me, like childhood trauma, stuff in relationships, how I got through it, therapy, like who was there for me, who rode with me, like that's what the book is about. But if I'm just saying, hey, this is a book about Monica life, then I got to tell you about my life.
So let's say it's about healing, Monica. How much of that would you be willing to share, like without saying who will be the most affected? You know what I mean? Because it's people that's still living and walking around, you know what I mean, that's in this. This is a live document that will be here forever, right?
For sure. I feel like my circle is small.
Oh, okay.
So I really don't care outside of my circle who knows, who cares or has an opinion. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm writing the book, I'm writing a book for me as a healing mechanism, and I'm writing a book for maybe somebody else is going through it. I could touch them in some type of way, or help them go seek, and it might affect them. I can't be concerned with that if I'm doing it for me.
For you, yeah.
What you did, which I get that. I understand you probably going to have plenty of people who might have read the book, or your so-called friends, or whoever, they all might have an opinion or think whatever, but you can't worry about that because it's your truth.
Yeah.
So if you're really going to buy an autobiography and you're really going to be honest, then you got to be honest with yourself while you're writing the book. Otherwise, what's the point?
Yeah, that's true.
Even if you, like you said, even if you're being honest, I guess the point is how much honesty.
That's up to you.
How do you determine how much I want to share? You know,
individual preference.
What to release.
Yeah.
I'm asking her, like, how does she choose what she wanted to release, or you know what I mean?
For me, this was my journal.
Okay.
So when I journal, when I wake up in the morning, let me show you an example. Girl, I have so many of them around here.
At least you got pants on.
Oh, right. Girl, ain't no, hold on, let me get it. So
basically, journal, and you publish the journal.
This is what happens. So you see my prayers? I pray and I write in my journal every day. And every day, even still, I have a Bible verse. You probably can't see that, but it says Psalms 16, right? So every day, even this was just literally a compilation of my life that I sent to them. And I didn't even have a time to think about how raw it was. I didn't even remember everything that was in it because it's just a running document, right? It's just, I wake up, I write before I go to bed. Sometimes I write at night too. And it's just like if I was to send this to them and they want it, and I'd be like, ooh, I don't even remember what's all in that. So I wanted to retract a lot. Like it was a lot of stuff that was in it that I was like, oh my God, I cannot possibly put this out there. I did change names because I ain't want no heat. You know what I'm saying? I changed names. Yeah. You don't need them problems. You know what I'm saying? But the story, the premise is real. So when you asked me that, Keisha, it was literally just raw emotion, just raw. I didn't even have a chance to go back and finagle with nothing. But thanks.
I know everybody go through stuff, but I was just like, damn, how much can one person go through? Yeah. And then sometimes I was mad at you.
I was mad at me, hell.
Like, she should know better. That's common sense. Like, what the hell, Yushima? Like, you know, I'm like slapping on the table while I was reading it, but you had to go through the process to learn. I get that. But that's why I said it was full of emotion.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Because knowing you, that's why I was like really mad at you. Yeah. Like, I didn't see this. She didn't see that. Like, this, she chose this. Mm-hmm. She didn't have to choose those and make those decisions over and over again, which is insanity. But you had to give that. You recognized it and got help for it and seek God for it. So ultimately, it was a lesson that you learned and you're better for it.
Absolutely. So let me say this, but I want everybody to answer the question about what's going to be in your book. Because I want y'all just sitting here like, oh, she ain't got, no, I'm going to ask this for y'all. So be thinking about it. But piggybacking off of what you said, Monica, and I just wrote this in my post on Instagram today. I was living my life because I didn't expect to live past age 25 or 26, 27. Like I didn't expect to live that long. So ultimately, I was just hopeless. You know what I mean? I was just existing. I was just surviving. I didn't have a plan for what I wanted to do if I made it through, if I made it out of this fire. It was just, I was always in survival mode. I was just always seeking love. I was seeking acceptance. I was just in pain. I was naive. I was stupid. I was suicidal. And I think some of those decisions that I made during those hard times in my life, I was hoping that something would just take me out because I didn't have the courage to do it. You know what I mean? And then I didn't want to be seen as the bad guy for, you know, taking her own self out of here. But I think sometimes on a subconscious level, when you go through that clinical depression, when you have those mental health issues that's untreated, we subconsciously make decisions as a means of self-destruction, indirectly. You know what I mean? And I think in my life up until God was like, girl, wake up. I think that was how my life was going. You know what I mean? Like, I was doing great things in the community. I was helping victims of child sexual abuse. I was traveling, I was speaking, and still getting beat by my mother. And I was 26. Do you see the
two realities? Yeah, two realities, like you said.
That's it. The duality of how many masks I had to wear because I was saving everyone else and couldn't save myself. I felt like a fraud. You know what I mean? I felt. Huh?
Right. True.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And people that live that way and they don't have a voice, they don't have a means to get out of it. And sometimes they don't even realize that that's what's happening right now, that this doesn't have to be your reality. Sometimes people just accept that. It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. Okay, Shavonda, Abby, and Miss Tamika, what's going to be in y'all book? Just hypothetically. Ooh, you look like that would be an interesting book. I want to read it, even though you ain't writing it, girl. Look, send me a DM. Just tell me what you.
I don't know.
I do not believe you. Look at your face, Mr. Mika.
See, I'm right there with Tamika though.
I don't really. I
never thought about it.
I have. Yep. I have all the time.
Yeah.
Keisha have too. She thought about writing a book.
Yeah, but I haven't. So I haven't sat and thought about or it never ran across my mind. So to be honest, I don't.
Okay. Okay. Shivani, you didn't either, huh? You ain't never thought about what you put
I'm
in.
not the type that I will open up to the people that that's around me, but I'm too private. Other than that, if you don't know me, then you just don't know me, and that's it.
And believe it or not, before I wrote this, so was I. I didn't even get on social media. Didn't nobody know none of this. So yeah, I feel you.
I think
Okay.
if I wrote a book, it would be just kind of like more of an entertainment. I mean, not so much entertainment. It won't be so much as you know how you say your book helps somebody, which I feel like it would. I don't have a lot of, I won't say dark things.
It'll be fiction, like
You know, I'm talking about if I wrote a book on my life.
oh, in your life. Okay.
You know,
Okay.
I feel like family book. It would be. I would tell my story. It would be some things people won't know. They might clutch their pearls, as well. But it will be. I think it would be a positive thing to let people know that certain things, love is real. You know, a lot of things we don't deal with because people feel like we all go through this, and we do. We go through some of the same things, but there's still so much as far as like relationships that I haven't been through that I think that might help somebody to see that all relationships ain't gotta be this much drama or this dysfunctional. Like there is black love, and I'm not saying it's perfect or nothing, but it ain't all that, and I ain't been through that, and I don't know that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That might help somebody, but this is stuff that I might not, credit to the brain.
Crazy.
Some things everybody don't need to know, and that's why I asked, like, do you choose? Like, I would have to decide: do you tell that part, or do you not? How do you determine what you include in it and what you don't? And that's why.
It's a hard decision because I didn't even have the decision. I just didn't expect for it to get picked up. So it didn't even occur to me, you know what I mean, to even consider it. But thank you for that. Miss Abby, what would be in your autobiography?
You know what? So we talking about healing or things like that.
Yeah.
I probably would. I mean, I don't know how I would write it. Like my childhood, like I felt like I had a real good childhood, but I probably would talk if it was about childhood and those types of things. It's really something about the skin that you're in. My father is Nigerian, so I'm very dark. I was like, well, I was born in the like late 70s, but I'm an 80s baby, right? So
Yeah.
a lot of times, as being black children, if you weren't a certain skin tone and things like that, you have to defend yourself. And I felt like I didn't have a bad childhood, but there would be things that I would do to not change my skin color or anything, but just like right now, today, I'm very like outgoing when it comes to like jokes and things that I say and things like that, and not to want people to like me. I think it just was more of a way to let people know like I'm more than what that outer shell that you are known to think. I mean, to think that you are. So when somebody see me, it's just like, oh, she looked like this. When really, you know, once you get to know people, like, oh no, she real, you know what I mean? And then as I got into it probably would be more of that, more of a healing book or a self-help book to let like young ladies know that, you know, to each his own.
Yeah.
Everybody has a preference, right? So if everybody liked one thing, then it would only be one person or one group,
One type of thing, right?
Yep.
So I probably would write about that. I mean, and you know, I've had and even maybe a relationship, like I might even talk about a tumultuous relationship that I've been in, and you know, now on this side being older, thinking about those things. I think about it all the time sometimes, like damn, you know. So even when I said I read your book and kind of got mad, I feel like a lot of people, and I'm not gonna say everybody, like Keisha said, like her relationship, you know, she looking at, you know, her family and the way that they are. I think that's like so beautiful, and she's right. You know, everybody doesn't go through that, but the people that do, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I look at where I am now and where I was, and so I would write about it just as a proud moment, like
Yes.
something that I
Uplifting.
made it through or I got
Yes.
out of,
Mm-hmm.
and how that's the reason why I remember that page and why I liked it so much, because being in a situation like I was, and you know, like even Monica said, like, damn, how did you do that? Why, you know, you do it over and over again. Well, that's like a woman being beat over and over again,
Yeah.
going back to that same person, or
Yep.
it's just in
Yeah.
different forms, right?
Yeah.
You go for love to this man because you like, I remember when we first met, you were so different, and that's what I'm looking for. Where you know you looking for somebody, your mom, that you got from your dad, and maybe you know you need it out of your mother, like whatever it was. So I get it, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So I probably would write about things like that. Like I wouldn't probably I mean I couldn't say that I've been through a whole lot, like I had a bad childhood or things like that, but um it was, there's things that I could write about, and it's more about just getting to the other side and being so happier knowing that you made it
Mm-hmm.
through these things and the things that I've learned from that, and you know what you
Mm-hmm.
get out of that. So
Absolutely.
yeah, so the one thing I read that was a meme the other day, and it said this chapter of my life is like so when I
Oh,
read that, I really like that, and
I would read it.
I love it.
because it's that circle is like tight and small,
Yes.
and sometimes you have to make your circles like that so that your life, you can really be prosperous, and not even just with money, but just with your mental. And you know it's so stressful out here right now. You don't need anybody
Yeah.
that is going to dim any type of light. Look, my light, look, I'm a 60-watt nigga. I'm old, okay?
Hey, come
I'm a
on.
60-watt bulb. I ain't got
Good
no
and
light up
bright.
there no more.
Yes.
I can't do it. My light
Come
real
on.
low.
That's it. Yes. Oh, I love that. First of all,
I love that.
I love it. That's my next book. It's all gonna be empowering and uplifting. And when I heard you speak, and when I heard you say, it's almost like we have to be on as Black women. We have to be on. We have to be ready for those outside of us so they can see I'm more than this stereotype, this box that you've put me in. It's exhausting being a Black woman. It's exhausting. Because even if I'm having a bad day, if I show that, it doesn't resonate to people outside of me that I'm having a bad day. I'm just an angry, bitter Black woman.
Mm-hmm.
And that's at
It's
Yeah.
not,
work.
huh?
You know, if you go home, as I said, that's at work, right? And then that's at home. So if you go home from a
Mm-hmm.
bad day, it's like, what's wrong with you? Like, you can't be angry. You always have to be the uplifting one. And that's
Yep,
as a mother, that's as a partner. You
yep,
always have to be that
Ooh,
one
that's
that
so true.
uplifts them. But then if you have a bad day, if you make it about yourself, because today, look, I'm tired. You know, it was the straw was at work. And when I come in the house, as soon as I hit the door, you say something, and now we into it. Now it's me. It's
right.
my fault. When really it's was a combination of things that it's like I can't be strong every day. I don't want to be strong every day.
Oh Lord.
And somebody needs to take that torch sometimes so that I can lay out,
Say that.
cry, pass out, lay out all day. I want to do that too.
Yes.
It's okay, you know. So
Yeah.
That brings me to the point you wrote about being strong. When people say you strong, and it's like I was telling Monica not too long ago. I was reading something on Facebook, and they say you shouldn't say a woman is strong. And I didn't agree with it, but now like when you, I don't remember what part it was, but you mentioned in your book as well, like being strong. Like I'm not strong. I have all this on me. I don't want to be strong. You know what I mean? So I kind of looked at that different. You know, we always say, "Oh, you're a strong black woman."
It's exhausting.
Like you shouldn't tell a black woman that. Yeah, so you shouldn't say that. And I didn't agree with it.
That's
but
true.
I'm starting to hear it differently now. And yeah, but you mentioned it about in your book, and you broke it down really well. Like being strong ain't always good.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All the time.
Lord. Yeah.
That means you ain't. Sometimes it means you ain't dealing with things you need to be dealing with.
And you just getting worn out.
That means
You
you're
know.
dealing with way
Yeah.
more than you should be dealing with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when
Yeah.
people see you as strong, they don't help you. They don't take you at face value. They feel like you got this. You got this, sis. You good. You always good. You always happy. You always coming through. And sometimes I don't want to be strong. You know what I mean? Sometimes I want to be a trash parent. Eat a sandwich for dinner this week, not just today. Let's have a sandwich. How many different sandwiches can we make? 7 sandwiches this week. Look at me. Sometimes I just want to be sandwich. Like, let me just, you know what I mean? But we have to go above and beyond to even be accepted, to be acceptable, I should say. And that's why I talk about the myth of the strong black woman. It's a myth. Ain't nobody that strong. Should nobody have to be that strong? Should nobody have to carry that burden like that? No other group in this world is expected to do a fraction of what a black woman does. And we're supposed to do it and smile.
Yep. My son told me when my sister was sick and she was going through it, and I broke down. He said, "Mama, I've never seen you that way. We need to see that.
We do.
Know it's not always okay."
And my
Yes.
mom told me that you don't cry. She said, "Mama, you don't cry."
Right. But
But you know what we do? We mask it though.
Right.
Yeah.
Mask it.
Well, because we do.
That's what I said. Not dealing with it, masking it, that facade where everybody they looking at you because they can't tell something wrong. Because you don't really want everybody to know there's something wrong either sometimes.
Yeah.
It's a private thing, I think,
In
too.
that
It's
car.
more like just like you break down something
In your
it could be
room,
something
Lord
real
have
small,
mercy.
like they done ran out of Oreo cookies. Right?
And you about to have it. Girl, come apart. Girl, come apart.
It's so crazy.
Girl.
But I'm just saying, like, you know, it's
For
like,
real.
oh, you don't cry, that you got it. You got it. Now you at the store asking if they got some Oreo cookies in the bag. Oh, you ain't got no Oreo? Now I'm crying.
Right.
But we have our moments, and we learn to not let us bring us down, and
Right.
you know, take over, manifest.
Right.
Yeah.
And then we have the kids, we have the grandkids looking up to us. So they like my grandbaby or my granddaughter always tell me, "Gary, you the best, you the best, Gary." So I really have to just walk that walk in front of them. But they leave, I lost that door.
Girl. That's right, Mr. Me.
I have my moment, so
Yeah. Yeah.
But you know what? My book would be about that. It would be to adults. It would be to parents to be like, you know, watch how you are because your kids pick up on everything.
Yeah.
And parents be in denial about how you turned out or some of the decisions or the choices you made. It didn't come from my shit. When yeah, a lot of it does.
Yeah.
So I think that would be the book that I would write because I had to deal with some stuff later as an adult from stuff that manifested for me as a child.
Right.
And my parents are still married today. They've been married for 43 years, bless their heart, but it wasn't always great. And then the pain that we saw, they didn't think it was supposed to affect us at all.
Yes.
That's that old school thinking. You know what I'm saying?
Thinking.
And it did. And it was stuff that I had to learn and I had to figure out. So it ain't like it's drama filled, but part of that was learning me how to forgive them, forgive myself, so that I can allow them to have like a different type of relationship with them.
Yes, absolutely.
So that's what my book would be about.
Absolutely. That's so good. It's difficult to navigate what's right and what's learned. I'm sorry, what'd you say, Tamika? Oh.
You so crazy. Hey, boo, you can walk by.
Oh my God.
Dorian said hi, y'all. She the youngest, Yoshi. The oldest was 17. I don't think you've seen DJ.
Not since he was little.
He's 17 now.
I did that. Those are my kids. You're welcome. So that's great.
Oh my God, Silver Daddy.
One thing that I found myself having to do, I had to learn how to navigate I'm still learning. I have not perfected this, but because I was abused growing up, I don't like to discipline my kids, right? So I don't want them to turn, I don't expect this little 8-year-old, I want him to become some thug on the street because I let him get away with stuff. So I'm learning how to be firm without feeling for being firm, right? Setting healthy boundaries with him. And I can do it, I can act it out, but I want to learn how to do it and not feel bad about it. Like I want to do it and be okay with doing it. I want to do it and be okay with saying, you can't go out and play with your friends because you didn't charge your phone, which is the issue. If your phone is not charged and I can't reach you, you can't go outside. You know what I'm saying? I want to be firm in some of those decisions, but it's difficult because I'm always afraid. Am I being mean? Is this abuse? Like I have to, you know what I'm saying? I have to fine line, but I know my clinical mind, right? My common sense mind, I know that that's fair. That's teaching him responsibility. That's teaching him how to, consequences for your actions. But my mind and my emotions, it's a disconnect sometimes.
Yeah.
You have to learn how to find that. And so that's something I'm struggling with. Mikey, my 15-year-old. Did anybody have any questions about him?
15.
He's 15. The one who poisoned us.
Oh, wait, you said us. You didn't say us in the book. Was it us?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you said you in the book.
Yeah, it was all of us.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So did he stay in a facility now?
He's in a facility. He still calls every week, sometimes several times a week. I still send him packages before COVID hit. We used to go visit every weekend or every other weekend.
How close?
It is about 2 hours away. About 2 hours away. No, I don't think you can change that. Some stuff you can't change.
I would agree with you on that because I
Yeah.
Rehabilitation, mental health, that type of,
Yeah.
it's like they can only do so much.
They can only do something. They can give him a place to sleep, but no.
Yeah, and some it's like so bad. It's like when it's in a person, it's just really, really bad. Like they can't medicine,
because it's I can't fight against that voice in his head that's telling him your mama needs to die. I can't compete against that.
It's very difficult to hear. There were a lot of technical difficulties.
He's
throughout
He's
this
where he
video.
needs to be.
It looks like
where
I
he
was
can be
doing a lot
safe,
of talking,
Yeah, and where
and
we could
maybe
be safe.
right?
Monica was doing a lot
Yeah,
of
And where you can be
talking.
safe.
right. But here's the
But that's
thing, I
just
still feel,
because I
and I
had
have
to
to get
edit
over
out
that
parts of the
because I
video like
still
this,
feel,
where our other ladies were talking, because you cannot
if I'm
hear
honest, I know
them.
that I know this is
So it
God's
was a
will for
little
him to not
bit
be
of a
here at the end of the day
challenge.
because
I'm
we
not a
would be dead. I
professional
had to get
editor.
3 bleeding
Did the
ulcers cut
best
out of
that I
my
could. So
stomach.
you'll see some
Blood was coming
abrupt
out of every
endings
crevice.
and
It
some
was just a
abrupt
mess,
starts
right?
in here. But
My little
it is
one
what it
ended up in
is,
the hospital.
and
His stomach was extended and
hopefully the
hard
next one will
from
be much
what he
better. I
ingested.
had
He
no
was very,
control over the
very ill.
technical
My husband
difficulties.
didn't
I'm
end up
sure
in the
the young
hospital,
ladies
but he
didn't
was very
know
ill too. He
that
didn't
it
go to the
was
hospital.
recording this way,
He was
but
smarter than us.
a
Like
lot
he
of
didn't leave
them
bottled waters
had
out.
awesome
He didn't
feedback, and they
accept
told
juices from
about their
him.
stories,
But here's the thing with
how it
Mikey.
affected them. So
I didn't know
I just wanted
he
to
did
give
this
you all
several
an
times since he was 8 years
idea
old. He
about
had been
why it looks
trying
like
different
I'm doing most of
methods,
the talking.
right, to get rid of us, to take us out. I didn't, there was no trigger. There was not something that he couldn't have that made him do this. There was not something that made him angry. He was just like, we could go to the park, we can go to the museum, come back and he'll put something in my drink. And then bring it to me here, mommy, and then rub my hair while I lay in his lap, my head in his lap. And then I'm getting sicker and sicker and sicker. And he's rubbing my feet.
Wait, we on the computer.
We it'll
Oh, it is
be
better.
better.